Hello, hello. Just gonna give the live stream a minute to catch up with Facebook. Come and join me, say hey in the comments. And I'm also gonna share this to my free Facebook group, The Lasting Love Movement. If you're not in there yet, come and join us. It's an incredible, very unique online space. Okay. All right, so we are back with Lasting Love Real Talks, and I'm answering 2 more questions here. Let me just make sure this is actually working. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Yes, okay, cool. So the first question is, how do you clear the air of tension? Okay, hold up. I'm just going to give you a bit of a heads up that I'm in the process of drying up my breast milk from feeding my baby, and I've been having a really hard time weaning. So I've been taking Sudafed, not advertising or anything, but my mouth is really dry because of the Sudafed. So if I have a hard time talking or I need lots of water, that's where I'm at. All right, anyway, back to the question. How do you clear the air of tension after a fight and prevent resentment from your partner? So I got this question in my group yesterday by a lovely member of the Lasting Love Movement, and I actually asked her to expand on this. And in summary, she had basically shared that she was reacting and kind of flipping out a lot. I'm not quoting her directly, but a paraphrase. And she would get really frustrated about these little things. And then she would react and she would share that, she was angry with her partner. But then as soon as she shared it, she would kind of get over it and be done and like ready to move on, while her partner was still upset and there was still tension. And, this is a cycle where it happens over and over again. Like she feels this need to react, and she does, and there's anger and all that. And then as soon as she does, she's ready to move on, and like this keeps happening. So he's building resentment through this. And I was like, okay, yeah, that paints a much clearer picture. And this is so much trauma hijacking her body. If you joined me for my video yesterday, I showed you a brain map. Today, I'm going to show you a different kind of diagram to help you understand if this is happening for you too, where you react impulsively, right? Like this feeling of anger, anxiety takes over you, takes over your body, and you you need to get it out, and you do, and then you're like, okay, cool, let's move on now, but your partner's still angry because you keep doing this. This is for you. It's going to piss off your partner basically and almost make them question, like, can we actually be in a sustainable relationship if this keeps happening, right? Because it gets scary for them. Like, when's the next time they're going to flip out? When's the next time? Can I do that? They kind of have to start walking on eggshells because they don't know when it's going to happen next. So I'm going to show you a little graph here. Let me see, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm just going to check. Let me know if you can see the graph. So let me know in the comments. Okay, I see it. All right, so let's talk about the window of tolerance. I don't know why I did that like that, but here is what's happening for you. This is, again, directly a result of unresolved trauma in your body. And what trauma does when it's stored in our nervous systems and our bodies is it creates all of this anxiety, all of this fear, all this stuff up here in the hyperarousal or the hypoarousal, and your window tolerance, which is this safe, cool, calm place in your body, it's very, very small. So if you think back to any time where you felt like really calm, really chill, just really safe, that was you and your window of tolerance. as a trauma survivor with unresolved trauma stored in your body, it's like, it's super small, and any little trigger will trip you up, will stir you into a hyper aroused response or a hypo aroused response. Now, what it sounds like is happening for you in these moments of, oh my gosh, I just need to like express this, I need to react. And it's not even a conscious thing, right? It's just happening so quickly. And then you're like, okay, let's move on. Is you're getting in you're being triggered into your hyper aroused state. So you're reacting in anger, you're agitated, you're anxious, and you can't find a way to calm down. And so in an attempt to release this or relieve this, because it's actually not a release, in any basically desperate attempt to feel better, to get back to calm, you react. And it is almost like, it feels like a release, like, oh, I just need to say this thing, right? Just need to express this. And then you're like, okay, cool. Now I can chill. All right, cool. Are we good now? Can we move on? And your partner's like, no, what the hell? You just flipped out on me for no reason, or you just did this again. No, we cannot move on. This is not okay. It's almost like you're using them as your punching bag, or, you know, however, whatever analogy might work for you, but you're using them to get back to calm. And this is a sign of unresolved trauma, because your nervous system doesn't know how to come into calm again. Doesn't, the window of tolerance is small. And when you're hyper aroused, you kind of need to yell, you kind of need to scream, you kind of need to go for that 10-mile run just to feel calm again. And it's actually not healthy, because you're just training your nervous system to go into these high intensity fear-based response just to feel a sense of relief. And it's not true lasting relief, AKA it's not release, because you're going like this. You're on a roller coaster, feeling really, really anxious. Oh, okay, now I'm calm. You know, I got it out, now I'm calm. But you're not really coming back to calm. You're crashing, you're burning through all the energy just to like kind of try to relax. And what needs to happen is that, you know, the ideal thing that needs to happen is that you expand your window of tolerance, so that you don't get into these irritated, angry, anxious places all the time, being triggered by the littlest things. But that's kind of further along, right? That's after you've healed your trauma and rewired your nervous system. What really needs to happen is, right, we expand the window of tolerance so that we don't come into these places of, oh, I'm going to use, not that it's conscious, but I need to get this out, right? I need to say this. I need to express in a very fear-based and not healthy way. And so when you rewire your nervous system and you expand your window of tolerance, you don't really need that. You can, things will frustrate you. Yeah, you're still human. You still feel annoyed probably. But it's like the reason your nervous system is reacting so quickly and needs that like relief, or what feels like relief, is because the hyper aroused response is, it's the fight or flight. It's the, I need to fight this beast or run away to save my life. So people think they can control it and try to speak or talk to themselves, or even talk to a therapist to change the pattern, but it's automatic. This is your survival system, and you need to rewire that through the body. We had a client who did my Let Love In program. You may have seen her in the Lasting Love Movement if you're there, Corey. She was really clear in explaining how this was happening for her in a video interview that I did with her. It's on my site if you want to see it. But basically, she would feel like the bear, ready to explode, about to explode at any point. Like she would come home and just automatically yell at everyone, her partner, her kids, and like just be so agitated. And the only way to really relieve that was to yell. And obviously it was just a temporary way to try to cope with the anxiety and anger. And she had been in years of therapy and she'd just come home and do the same thing again. And it wasn't until she actually started doing this trauma healing through her body, through her nervous system, through movement, where she could start to feel the space, right? The space in her body. It's that window of tolerance, the extra space to be calm, to respond. She had described it like my baseline used to be at a 7, and now I feel rooted and calm and I feel at home. Like it's safe to be in her body and in relationships because she's done this work through Let Love In. She's really released that trauma from her body. So yes, this habit is detrimental to your relationship. If you keep doing it, if you keep basically using your partner to relieve the anxiety, it's not even a helpful thing to do, because you're not even teaching your nervous system to regulate. You're just staying stuck in that pattern of express or expel really intense emotion and then crash. And you need it every time. You need to yell. You need to go for that 10-mile run. Like you need that just to crash. When you do that, it's not even a useful thing. It just sabotages your relationship. So you do need to do the work to really heal the trauma from your body and rewire your nervous system. If you have not taken my free Wired for Love training, I go through all the steps on how you can do that, how that can work for you. There's a workbook where you can apply your real life relationship situations. People have gotten more clarity and understanding from this short training alone than many years in therapy. That's legit the feedback that I've gotten. If you've done the Wired for Love therapy, not Wired for Love therapy, if you've done the free Wired for Love training, then it's time to take the real next steps and apply to my Let Love In program, where you can truly change this pattern, because before you know it, your relationship is going to be done. Your partner is not going to put up with it any longer. And even Corey, who has made a massive transformation through Let Love In, we spoke, now it's been several months since she's finished, and everything has changed in her relationship and her family. But we spoke and did this interview just maybe a month after she finished. And she's like, Orit, I have a question. How do I now, I've changed. I'm so different. I've evolved. But how do I get my husband to believe that too? How do I get my kids to believe that mom won't flip out? When you're in this habit, you create a tense environment where they expect you to flip, where they're scared of you flipping. And just as much as you want to have this calm environment in your relationship, they do too. And so the longer that you're in this pattern, the longer you're suffering alone, but also your family as well. And even once you adapt and rewire, you have to give time for your partner to adapt to the new, most amazing, softened version of you. And so time is important here. It's time sensitive if you do want to save your relationship. So I'm going to move on to question number 2, but let me know if you have any questions. Send me a message if you want to know more about my Let Love In program, or if you need the link to my free Wired for Love training. If you send me a PM about Let Love In, it's not like, you're not obligated to join the program or anything. We could just have a casual chat about if it's the right thing for you. I could also just send you all the details. I have everything laid out, how it works, the price, all of that. So everything's up front, where you get to understand like what you would really be doing. So yeah. Number 2, I still am on this diagram. Let me come back. Okay, number 2 is, how do you handle feelings of anger, disgust, horrible anxiety that are triggered by your partner's past lying and infidelities? Even though he's changed and has been demonstrating his deep love, appreciation, and commitment to you, and is also serious about helping you heal. I need some water. So The first thing I'll say is, if you didn't watch my video from yesterday, definitely watch that, because I show you the map of a brain where I'm showing you exactly why it's impossible to just get rid of these feelings of anger and disgust and anxiety when you've experienced this kind of trauma in your relationship. Even though your partner today is, you know, as opposed to whenever he was unloyal to you, even if he is shown that he's changed and he is shown all the ways that he's changed, and it's obvious, you know, logically, you know, in your mind that he is showing so much love and appreciation and commitment to you, and even wants the best for you. You can know all of that. You can write it in a journal 75 times over and over and over again. You can say all the affirmations, but it will never get through to you. You will never believe it until your body and nervous system believe it. And if you need the link to my video yesterday, I show you exactly why, because when you are trying to convince yourself that, oh no, he's good now, that was in the past, but now my partner is loyal and they, you know, I trust them, right? It's like, I trust my partner, I trust my partner. You're trying to convince yourself, but when you do that, you're engaging with your prefrontal cortex. You're engaging with the higher functioning part of your brain that that talks about this stuff, that thinks about, that is cognitive, is intellectual, and your trauma is not stored in that part of your brain. So it's like speaking French to somebody who only understands English. You're trying to tell you're trying to tell yourself that everything's fine and safe again, while meanwhile your amygdala and your hippocampus, your nervous system and your body are on high alert, right? That's what anxiety is high alert. It's not safe, and is just reacting in this, you know, all these feelings. Of course you're angry, right? Your partner lied and cheated, you know, of course you're angry. Of course it's giving you horrible anxiety. That was trauma that is stored in your nervous system and body. It will not help to keep trying to convince yourself through your mind or through thoughts. You need to release that trauma from your body, because, you know, your hippocampus is the part of your brain that distinguishes past from present. And you can, right? You're writing here, I know that he's changed. I see that he's changed. Your brain doesn't know that. Your body doesn't know that. Your body is still acting as if you're going to get hurt and rejected again. So if you need that link to the brain map, I suggest looking at that. Again, I will suggest signing up for my free Wired for Love training if you haven't already. And if you're really, truly ready to heal the trauma and rewire your nervous system, you know, if this is going on for you, then I highly, highly recommend just doing the work already, right? Because I have seen almost occurrences of families, of marriages breaking apart. You know, it's detrimental, that didn't really have to. And when we, you know, because the majority, I would say the majority of clients that we see, they are on the brink of their relationship. They're considering leaving. I'm working with a client right now who is just like, has this huge urge to leave and run away. And she's convinced that that was the right thing. And in the Let Love In program, we don't tell you, no, that's not the right thing, or, right, like, we're not telling you what to do. That never helps anybody. But through working through her body and movement and seeing inside, like, I just gave her some home play to do a movement meditation on dealing with rejection. And when she tuned into her body, she's like, oh my gosh, it's me. It's me who is, you know, she kind of said it in a detrimental way, which I corrected, right? Like, it's me who's the problem. And I'm like, okay, like, let's not put yourself down here. But she's like, it's me. And it's because she has never been in her true solid sense of self. And she over and over again abandons who she is to please her husband. So of course she wants to run away. Why wouldn't you? You want your independence. You want to be yourself. And of course you would feel trapped if you always do that. So I don't know where that story came in, but she was ready to break up her family for something that, you know, feels so real. Like, I gotta leave, right? My flight response is going off. I gotta leave my relationship. Whereas in reality, when we started accessing the trauma and releasing it from her body, she's seeing how this problem isn't in her marriage, it's in herself. So yeah, if you're on the brink of separation, if you don't want your family to fall apart, if you don't want to end up in regret that you broke up your family, and you find out in the next marriage or in the next relationship that the same thing is happening over again because it's your trauma that you bring into every relationship, then you need to do the work. And I invite you again to apply to my Let Love In program, or just send me a PM, and I will send you the details, because this is serious. It's time sensitive. And I believe that you deserve healthy, lasting love. I believe that you are just as capable as any other human to rewire your nervous system. We all have wiring. We just got to build those new neural pathways that show us it's safe to love. It's that relationships can be healthy and beautiful and lasting. Your mind won't believe it until your body does. So yeah, let's have a chat if you want to do the work to heal your trauma, and for good, releasing it for good and letting in healthy, lasting love. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next Lasting Love Real Talks. Bye.